Sometimes kids can have friends their parents are not aware of. I thought this was the case with my granddaughter, but I was wrong. This happened while I was watching my daughter's kids as she and her husband were out of town. My granddaughter Alyssa might have been kidnapped that night. It was around 3 a.m. and a weird rustling sound woke me up. I opened my eyes, looked out the window, and saw a boy emerging from the bushes on the side of the house. The boy didn't seem to be a much threat, so instead of calling the police, I decided to scare him straight and make him go home. I went outside and strictly asked him, "Can I help you?" The guy looked at me and I realized he wasn't nervous at all. Moreover, he was much older than my granddaughter and he was kinda athletic. To my surprise, he walked up closer to the house and said, "Yeah, I'm looking for Alyssa." I didn't say anything, just gave him a disapproving glare, pointing out that it was too late and he'd better go home. It looked like Alyssa knew her parents were going out of town, and maybe before she knew I'd be staying over, told a secret older boyfriend to come over. But still, it was super weird he came so late and wanted to see Alyssa. So, I said, "I'm sorry, who?" And he said again, "Alyssa, you know, Alyssa Black. This is her house." When he pronounced her last name, there was no doubt they knew each other. I told him to wait outside, but he didn't listen and started to walk up. My gut was telling me that the guy was dangerous, so I yelled, "No, stop. Freeze." Then readjusted and said, "You stay right there. This is private property, don't take a step closer. Wait there." I went upstairs, to the room where Alyssa was sleeping, and woke her up and asked about the guy. I don't know what the big idea was to have friends over this time of night, but you tell them to go home. But she was confused. I explained, "There's a guy outside asking for you." Still confused, she got up and looked at the window. She went white as a sheet when she saw him and asked me, "He was looking for me?" "Yeah." "By name?" "Yes." "Call the police. I've never seen him in my life." She was definitely scared and I called 911 immediately, but as I was on the phone, Alyssa started tugging at my arm. "He's coming up." There were even younger kids at home, so I kept the door latched and pulled it just open enough for the latch and yelled, "I asked my husband and none of us know an Alyssa Black. Leave my property or I'm calling 911. But it made him even angrier and he started yelling like crazy, asking for Alyssa. Thankfully, the police came pretty quickly, and when he heard the sirens he grabbed the bike and ran off. When the police arrived, I showed them the way, but it was too late and they didn't get him. They told us they had a couple of similar reports recently and that it probably had something to do with social media information. We were told to take all her social media details offline if she was sure she didn't know this person. I am a pizza delivery guy and I will never forget this night. Not because it was busy as hell, but because I will never be the same after it. I was delivering pizza nonstop back and forth, without any time to even pause and take a leak. I just got the next delivery and, on its way, the urge to go hit me. Thankfully I was close to the customer so could get this one over with quickly. Or so I thought. I knew this house as I was there before, but I realized that the lights were off, not even the glow of a television or anything. And on top of it all, the block was dead quiet. I decided to check if I'm at the right address because it was late and I didn't want to disturb anyone. So, I stayed in my car and called the customer. The voice on the other end was out of breath. "Yeah?" I just tried to keep it clear and concise. "Hey, it's your pizza out front, but there doesn't appear to be anybody home?" And the customer replied, still gasping for air, "Yeah, I'm not home." The problem was that I had to pee so badly so I couldn't be patient anymore. I explained to the customer that the order will be terminated. But the voice on the other has changed and I realized it was a young girl. I regretted I let my bladder do the talking. The girl was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I was running down the street so I could barely hear you," she cried. "I just switched you out of my AirPods. Is that better? Sorry, I completely lost track of time at work, but I knew you were coming. That's why I'm literally running home right now. Please don't leave, I'm starving and I don't have a car. Seriously, please don't leave. 5 minutes tops, okay? I know what it's like to be hungry, and running late, and have no car but not live near any restaurants." Plus, when I heard her voice I realized I knew her and she'd always been perfectly nice. So, I told her I'll be waiting for her. All I wanted was to pee, and I started looking for an appropriate place to do that. There were people in some houses and it was pretty close, and there were no trees or bushes. Then I realized the safest bet was to use a bush in front of the girl's house. She wasn't home and there was no street light. Perfect, no one would see me. After I found the hugest bush, which was about 4 feet from her door, I looked both ways, unzipped, and let fly. But I suddenly noticed that the sound was way off, more like pissing on something solid than something leafy. It was probably a key rock or something and could just move a few inches over. All of a sudden, I heard a way more concerning noise. A deep voice exclaimed, "What the fuck?" And I saw a man come leaping out of the bushes. He blew by me, and I realized I was peeing straight on him, probably even in his face because he spit pretty emphatically. I was shocked and just stood there trying to figure out what had happened. What was he doing there? The guy was wearing a hoodie in 90-degree weather. That was a bad man. I was in a bad situation. I walked over to the side, turned on my phone flashlight, and tried to peer around the line of shrubbery. I found a bag that was all in my pee and it looked bad. I opened the bag and saw a sharp knife, a roll of duct tape, and a bottle of pills. I dropped the bag, got in my car, and slammed the pedal to the floor before the door was even all the way closed. I went as far as I could as fast as I could until I hit a red signal. Then I pulled off to the side and realized I shouldn't be driving any more than necessary in the condition I was in. I pulled into the parking lot of a 24-hour drugstore and took a breath. I breathed in and out and was ready to formulate a plan of action. The first thing that came to my mind was, who do I call first, the police or the girl whose house that was? I started being worried about her because she needed to know what was going on. But as I was dialing her number, it occurred to me, what if there was no girl? What if I was wrong about the house? What if I have never seen it before, never been to there? What if the girl on the phone was just a decoy to get me there to rob me, or worse? Every pizza guy on the planet has seen the Evil Genius documentary by now, so I thought she called me all out of breath. She wasn't home. The whole thing was off. Can't risk it. I'll start with the cops. I called 911 and the operator helped me big time. I was talking too much, trying to explain the situation, but all my thoughts were totally mixed up. I was asked to shut up and just stay on the line. But suddenly the girl called me. I ignored it because I couldn't answer it without disrupting my 911 call. She then sent me a message. "Hey, I'm here, don't see you?" I told the police she was there and they said officers were only minutes away. But who knows how long that meant. I felt guilty because my rational mind said the odds of her being a decoy girl for some large scam targeting pizza guys were low and the odds of her being the intended victim of a predator were high. I decided to take an action myself. I muted 911 and went for the girl. I eventually told 911 where I was driving and they were not happy with that at all. I didn't care. I had to save the girl. When I arrived, she was there. I waved her down, flashing my brights. She bounced over to the window of my car, happy-go-lucky. I figured that was a good sign that she wasn't in on whatever this was. I was super scared as I didn't know what's gonna happen next, so I just told the girl to get in the car. I didn't want to make the same mistake with her that I had made with 911, so instead of trying to tell the whole story, I stuck to the bare basic facts. There was a man in your bushes. I'm on the phone with the police. I don't know where he is right now. Please get in the car so we can lock the doors. I was barely able to get even those sentences out, and I was shaking like I'd had 10 cups of black coffee. I held up my phone with 911 on the call screen to verify it for her. I was kinda surprised she got in the car without further explanation. You still there? Is she with you? Are you safe? Is anyone else there? 911 kept checking in, and I explained to them the girl was in my car, and we drove to a location 911 instructed us. After we arrived, the police came pretty soon after and the girl was talking with them. I was just sitting and watching what was next. It turns out the reason she got right into a strange pizza guy's car without asking the details was that she knew the man who was hiding in the bushes. She had an abusive ex-boyfriend who was apparently psychotic enough, and after I told her there was a guy in your bushes, she thought of him instantly. She later called us to thank me and insist on leaving a huge tip. I wasn't there when she called, so the kid who answered didn't refuse to accept the money. But the manager already promised the next time we see her we can load her up with enough 1 free pie cards to last a lifetime.